Hello everyone, I am Srijan Dixit from PGDAV College. I am a MLAI developer in DSC PGDAV and I am here for your first session to tell you about the basics of Python. Before that, we need to know what you will learn from day 1 to the last day. So from day 1 you will learn the introduction to Python. We can use R language also, but Python is more easier than R, and for beginners it is more user friendly. So we'll be learning Python, and in the second session of this introduction to Python, we'll be learning the basics of support libraries that are NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, which will be useful to you in the upcoming sessions. And after that we'll learn the basics of ML, machine learning, and how to pre-process data, import data, and all the other basic things which are included in MLAI. And our aim is to make you capable so that you can make your own model and be a analyst. So I hope this will be a good session to all of you. So I'll be starting to the introduction of where to execute these Python scripts or where to practice this Python projects, which I'll be telling you. So basically, I'll be using Google Colab here. Google Colab is if anyone knows about Jupyter Notebook, they must know that Google Colab is as same as Jupyter Notebook, but it is basically a Google version of Jupyter Notebook, which is saved on Google Drive. So it's basically very easy. You can understand, like here we'll add code, and in this code I say I am printing my name. Okay, that is solution. And that's how I'll be hiding here. So it's printed, it has printed my name. So, and here we can also add text, or we can write anything like introduction to Python. And here we can also add images and other things. So it's basically easy, but the one drawback of this Google Colab is that you need to you need a constant internet connection for this, because it automatically saves your progress whenever you add or delete something. So uh, that's for the Google Colab. Now I'll deep dive into Python. So first we should know who developed Python. The creator of the Python was Bodo van Rossum, and he created this in 1991, and it was created for us to be able to what can I say, like easily code and easily learn the basic languages to which we need to program. So the advantages are it has a very extensive support libraries like NumPy, Pandas. NumPy is used for calculations, numerical calculations. Pandas is used for data analysis, and Matplotlib is used for representing your data in graphs, a pie chart, etc. And it is very easy to run. And for beginners, it is really, really very easy. So I think it will be fun for you to learn your first language is Python. If not, then it is automatically easy if you know any one languages from the pool. And it's a high-end language, high-level language. High-level language means the language which human can understand easily. So, and the computer which the language which computers understand is low-level language, like machine language, which is they compute everything in one and zeros, binary numbers. So, and that's all the advantages. And now I'll be telling you how to and where how to install, and not entire process, I'll tell you the site where you can download. So here is the site, python.org. So select according to your operating system. So I have Windows, so I have downloaded Python for Windows. And if you do not want to download anything, so you can also learn like Google Colab here. Run everything in Google Colab. You will not need anything. You just have to search Google Colab on Google, and you can enter from your Gmail account. So the first topic of our session is how to print something in the IDE. So we have a print function, which is an inbuilt print function provided by Python, and which is like this: print brackets, and here this is string. So whenever we need to enter a string, we will write in double inverted or single inverted commas. So I'll run this, and it's printed. Like, I'll remove this now. This, let's see, it's printing. And this, let's see if we are not uh, putting the braces, then how it will run, or it will show error. It's showing an error, syntax error. So basically it's compulsory to provide it inside braces. Okay, so we'll be running this, and this here is one string, and the second one is the keyword which you can enter or not. It's your choice, but basically end is used for how your print function will end by printing anything. So if it will be printing hello, then the ending will be like a space, then it will print world. Okay, let's see how it will print. It's hello and space which I provided, means it will print in the same line. So hello space word. Now if I am writing everything in double lines without any end, providing any end to it, so it will print first line hello and second line word. So the second topic is how to read the input. So we are also provided by a input function that receives data, whichever your data input, it is received as string data. So you learn everything ahead. I am just telling this because it's the basic. Ahead we'll learn what is string and what are functions, so don't panic. It's quite easy. Just put these basics in your mind, you'll understand it afterwards. Okay, so like I put, x is a variable. Variable is something in which you store things. Like let's take an example of a box, like lunch box. So in lunch box you store your food. So what is food? Food is the input, and the lunch box is your variable. So let's say it's asking for a input. When we learn, it will ask for input, and let's enter 5 and enter. It will, the next command we provided is print the x, which is our variable. So it will print x. So basically this 5 is showing because we input this 5 here. So don't get panic why there are two fives. It is because you entered it here as an input, and second one is you printed it. So if you want anything to ask a user, so you can write inside it the input function, like I want a user to enter a string. So I wrote x is equal to input, enter a string, and then I'll run it, and then I'll print. So here it is. It is asking enter a string, and I'll write my name. You can enter any string you want, so it will print. Understood? I think it's quite easy. And if we want a number to enter, it is same. But see, I'll tell you one thing. We entered a number, and it printed that number. But the input we provided to it is a number, but it will interpret it as a string. So if we want it to interpret as a number, we'll need to write here int is a data type, means integer, and then we'll run it and it will write. So it has taken x as an integer. Okay, now we'll be coming to comments. Comments are basically the non-executable part of the program that are generally ignored by the Python interpreter. Why it is like that? So let me say some of you don't know any language, and I have provided you a program, only the code. See, after the beginner won't understand what it is doing or what it is computing. So comments provide that insight to the layman, that they can understand what it is doing. Like let's say I have here hash print hello, but I'll write here hash this line prints a string. So if I'll run this, it won't run this line because it's a comment, and then it will run print. We have provided hello, so it will print hello. Then to write a comment, you just need to add a hash. So if on the first line we wrote this, on the second line we this, so it won't be a comment because we haven't provided a hash, and hash is used only for single line comments, so it is applicable only on the first line. So for the second line we'll need to add another hash here, and it will be the second comment. Okay, and basically there or you can also use multi-line comments like this. So let's say uh, how multi-line comments are used. Multi-line comments are used by three inverted commas. It can be single inverted commas or double inverted commas, it doesn't matter. But basically the function of this three inverted commas is that they are multi-line string input. So it's not basically multi-line comments, it's multi-line string inputs, which can also be used as multi-line comments. Okay, so here like I run this, it ignored this part and it printed this part. Okay, so I hope you understood the this part. If you have any query, you can write in the comments. I'll rectify or tell you what to do, explain you everything. Okay, so now we'll be coming to variables. Variables, like I told you, like I gave you the example of lunchbox. So I told that the lunchbox is your variable, means the lunchbox stores something. What does it store? The food. So basically here variables are the lunch boxes which will store your input. So in computer terms, we'll be saying variables are nothing but reserved memory locations to store your input values or any values which are we providing it before the execution of the program or after the execution of the program by the user input. So the prime thing is that they are case sensitive. If like we used num is equal to 100, okay, we stored 100 value in the num. See, we don't need to provide that it's an integer variable or floating variable or string variable, because the Python interpreter interprets it automatically. But in the input function, it only takes any input as a string. So don't get confused on that. Okay. So here is num, and the language is change sensitive. So if we are using num, and if like we here add print num no capital and um. So let's say we print it, and it will say name error because we haven't provided num with anything. Okay, so here we have provided num with 100, which is an integer value, and dnum, d means decimal number. That is your the name can be written as your convenience. It's not a hard and fast rule that you have to write something big. You can also write here f. Okay, it's your choice. So for the easiness to understand the program, we can write this like this. Okay, so denum is floating point. Floating point means decimal numbers. Okay, and name is as John, which is a string. So we'll be printing all three. So let's see, as printed. Okay, if we remove this point o from here, it will become a integer number. Okay, now we this in an assignment, we are assigning 100 value to this variable. So if we want to provide the same values to more than one variable, we can provide it like this. Okay, so after assigning this a equal to b equal to c equal to 1, and we'll be printing this. So let's print, it will print 111. So we have provided with the same value. Okay, I hope you understood this. If you have any queries, let's write in the comments. Now we'll be coming to the data types. Data types are basically the type of memory which is stored in a variable. So there are basically standard 5 types of data types. Okay, first is numbers, second is strings, third is lists, fourth is tuples, and fifth is dictionaries. We'll be explaining you all the 5 in the ahead codes. Okay, so numbers are basically which you know, like integer numbers and floating decimal numbers, 1 by 2, 1, 1.0, like this. Strings are the names. String can be like your name, your address, your or your mobile number, which is in string format. No, mobile numbers comes, let's not confuse it with you with anything. We will get confused it with numbers. So string is the string data types, that is basically English language. Like we like I put this all in a variable named a. So I put this in inverted commas, and it prints. You can use data types to check which data is this. So okay, so let's see. We don't need data types, we need type function. Okay, okay, let's see. We will providing, and list are basically we'll be seeing ahead. So first we'll come to numbers. Numbers can be like integer numbers, and we can see what type of data type it is by using the type function, which is an inbuilt function provided by Python. So it has printed int means integer, like we see here, values were 10.5, and like we see what type is this, and let's see what it print. Float means decimal point number. So you can see we have provided this, and 3.14j, if you know complex number, it is in complex number in j-axis. J-axis means y-axis. So like I print this, sorry for the error, and this. So it print it complex. Don't get confused about that. I used all the same three variables here because first I assigned it one, then I changed it here, so it doesn't matter. You can change it anytime you want. Now we come into strings. Strings, like I said, this is an str object, and this is also an keyword. So if ahead you use anything like to convert some number into string, so you will be using str. So if you have used it anything earlier, you will need to delete that variable. So let's see, I have provided it with hello world, and let's see, I have provided it with type of this. So I'll printing this and it will print str. Str means string. Okay, and let's see here, it is same as str. We provided it inside inverted commas, so it won't interpret it as numbers. Okay, now we'll come to list. Lists are basically enclosed within square brackets, and they are items separated by commas. So basically they can be of any type. You don't need the same data types inside it, so it's quite easy. And if anyone knows C or C++, they can know it's to some extent it is like that only, like array in C and C++. So basically, let's say I provided list underscore a variable, and the list is written like this by square brackets, and inside are the data I have provided, and separated by a comma. Okay, I hope you understood this. This is our list, and this is our tiny list. So we'll be printing this list. It printed list, and now in this print function we multiplied with it 2, so the contents will be multiplied inside the list, and it will print this. So you can also store this like this in some variable if you want to double the contents of a list. And let's see if we want to see the type, and it will print list. Okay, and now comes the tuple. So tuple is basically another data type that is similar to list. It is also contains different types of data types inside it, and are separated by commas. But the difference between list and tuple is that they are the list are assigned by the square brackets, and the tuple are assigned by parentheses. Okay, and this is the difference. And the second difference is list is mutable and the tuple is immutable. So the immutable means it can be altered. Means I can change the content inside this, but in tuple I can't change the contents. Okay, so let's see. We have this. Okay, this is a tuple provided like this. It is same as the content we provided in the list, and we did the same thing. So it's basically same to, so we can apply the same operators in this. Yes, so see, it is doubled again. And now let's access this. Tuple 2 is equal to 0, like we are like the indexing starts from 0. So for this, to access this, you need to add tuple 0. Okay, like wait, I'll be telling, like print, we need the first data we provided in the tuple. So variable name and then the index number. Index number will always in square brackets. Let's see. First we'll need to run this and then run this. So it will be printing ABCD, which is provided here. So the indexing start from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So we know that there are 5 data types we provided inside this, but to access it we'll use one less indexing, okay, from 0 to n minus 1. So like now let's move to this. Like I am altering this third element. 2 means 0, 1 and 2. So third element is being altered by me. I am providing it 1000 value. Let's see it will run or not. So it is showing a type error. Why? Because it is immutable. We can't change it contents. So let's comment it. So how we comment? We comment by providing it with hash. And now let's run this by accident list contents. Why did not it printed this? Because we need this to be printed again. Sorry, we need to this run again because it is initialized here. So we need the computer to know that this variable has been initialized and it will access here. Now let's see, it still doesn't run. Why? Because we are assigning a value here. So let's see, print list underscore. Now let's see. So print, it has printed and we can see the third element. We have provided index 2, which means third element, that is 1000, but earlier it was 2.23. okay, so now on the last data type, see I have just covered the skin part of these data types. So we'll be manipulating these data types. So for that you need to see my whole video because I'll be continuing that ahead. Okay, so let's move to dictionaries. So Python dictionaries are basically like a hash table. Okay, so Python dictionaries are basically we provide a key and a value. So it's basically a list of key and value pairs like this. We have provided a dictionary and inside this is a key and this is a value. This is, and then it is separated by a comma, then key, then value, then again it's separated by comma, then key, then value. Okay, so this is our dictionary. So dictionary basically are initialized as this curly braces. Dict is a variable and it has been initialized empty. Okay, we haven't provided anything, so it's empty. So if we need to add any key and value, we can add it like this: the variable name, then square braces, and this is the value of key, which is 1, and this is its what it is value. And basically if the second element we'll be adding is 2. Now you can see here it is a string, here it is a number, so it doesn't matter. Understood? You can, it can be of any data type. So it's like the key of 2 as the value, this is 2. Okay, now we have provided a tiny dictionary which has key, name, code, and dep. Dep means department. Name John, code this, department sales. Now we'll be printing dict1. We are accessing this value, so we will need to access like this if you want to access one single value by using key. So key is 1. Okay, Now let's see, here also I use this, and I am printing that this dictionary. And here if you need to see what are the keys inside a variable, you can use dot keys function, which is provided by Python. So tinydict dot tinydict is a variable name, is keys, and if you want to see the values, you can use dot values function. So let's run this, and it has shown an error. Why does it shown an error? Because we have altered it with this. Sorry, I have made some mistake here. And let's see. So this is one, which is this which we provided, and this is two, which is this, and tiny dict, which is this. And let's see, we have the dictionary keys, which are like name, code, department. So see the name, code, and department. And what are the values? You can see around this which are being provided by me. Now one thing I have commented, let's remove that, and let's see if I have provided this one, which is inverted commas. Let's remove, and um, let's call it by another variable. A variable, we can see, we can say like I have removed the inverted commas to access it. So let's see, it is showing a name error because we haven't initialized anything to this variable. So you need to know the thing you are accessing is what type. So you will get this, okay, this type of error. So you need to understand this. So now let's move to operators. Operators are basically what? You know, operators are basically used for computation. Okay, so there are different types of operators. That first is arithmetic operator, which is known for computation, and second is comparison operator, which is used for comparison. Assignment or operator used for assigning a values, and same as is logical, bitwise, membership, and identity. So I'll be covering this ahead, don't get confused if I haven't explained it properly. So we'll coming to uh, Python arithmetic operator. So let's say we have two variables, that is a, and which has value 10, and variable b that has value 21. Then we have this type of operators. First is addition. We can add two values, which can add two values. So a plus b, let's do the computation in our mind, at 10 plus 21, which is 31. Similarly, subtraction. So subtracting this, a minus b, 10 minus 21, which is 11. Similarly, multiplication. So we'll be doing by this, a into b. And in division, which we will be doing by this. So this is a floating point division. There are two types of division. One is integer division, and second is floating point division. So this is floating point division, I'll be telling it ahead. And this is modulus. Modulus give us the remainder of which, like b modulus a, it means b is divided by a, but it will provide the remainder. So b divided by 10, so 21 divided by 10, so it is 2 times, which is 20. So 21 minus 20, it is gives 1, so remainder is 1. So it will provide the remainder. And the exponent is basically for power, like a double asterisk gives the power. So 10 to the power 21. Okay, now let's come this. Let's know, I've told that is the integer point division. So you know, it is, sorry, it is floating point division. So it is providing us you by a floating number when we divide. So let's divide 11 by 2, and we'll use this operator, which is double slash. So let's provide, and 11 divided by 2, which is 5.5, but it is providing 5 because it is giving us integer value of the division. And now and this will gives us the floating point division, which is 5.5. Now let's come to comparison operators. And before that, if you have any queries, please write in the comments. Team and me will be providing you the answers. Okay. Uh, you can comment anytime. We'll provide you with the answer. So, what are comparison operators? Comparison operators are basically operators to compare any values or get any relation between them. So, hmm, let's take an example of yourself and your friend. Like in a maths exam, you got 80%, 80 marks, and your friend got 90 marks. So how you can relate that your friend got more marks than you. So let's say your friend is Abhay, and yourself is Srijan. So Abhay is greater than Srijan in terms of computation. Like we provided Abhay is equal to 90 and Srijan is equal to 80. So yeah, it will be a comparison between our marks. So let's see what type of operators are provided in this. So here are the operators: double equal to, which checks if the two values provided are equal or not. So we have two variables, a that holds value 10 and variable b that holds value 20. So if we provide a equal to b, it will print false. Okay, like let's see, I provided is 10 and b is equal to 20, and let's see a is equal to b, and sorry, I need the code here. Let's a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, a is equal to b. Now let's run this. It's printing false because this condition is false. Okay, it's basically an IAT, so we don't need printing function here. So similarly, this is not equal to, if let's say 10 not equal to 20, it is true, so it will print true. Then similarly, uh, a is greater than b, greater than function, and it is less than function. This is greater than equal to function, and it is less than equal to. So you need to explore these yourselves. I have provided a single example. You can refer. And now we come to assignment operators. So assignment operators are basically to assign values to a variable. Okay. So let's say equal to, we use like this: a equal to 10. We assigned value 10 to a by an equal to operator. Okay. And if we want to add anything to a, let's remove this, and a equal to a plus 10, then print a. It won't be showing. If we won't provide print function, it won't be showing anything. So let's, it has value 20, we provided it plus. But if we need shorthand notation, so here it is provided plus equal to, it means the same. Let's say a plus equal to 10. Now let's see, it has printed 30. So basically here was the value, a had value 10, here I increased it by 10, so it became 20. Now again I increased it by 10, so it became 30, so it has printed 30. Okay. So basically these two are the same thing, and it also goes for the minus operator and multiplication operator, and also for the modulus operator. Okay, so you need to understand this by yourself. No, you. I have explained this. You need to explore it by yourself. That's your homework. Otherwise, if I'll be providing everything, how will learn anything? Then we'll come to logical operators. So we obviously talk about logic. So logic is basically true or false here. How it is true or false? Let's say if I have provided it with a value 8, 10, and I say uh, b is provided by a value 20. Okay, so let's say b is greater than a and b equal to a. So we it how it will process it first it will process b is greater than a. It will check this condition. Okay, but it is a comparison operator. So 20 is greater than 10, that's true. So it will send a signal that it's true, and then it will check if b is equal to a, because we have provided and function. And function, it means if both or both condition are true, then it will print true. Okay, so if the second condition is a equal to b, which is false, because one is 10 and another is 20, so it's false, so it will print false. So same goes for the or operator. Or how or works? It works like only one of the provided relation must be true. Okay, if like the same thing we used earlier, a greater than b or a equal to b, so it will print true because one of the condition is true. And not, logical not. So let's prove no let's see how not works. Not is quite easy. Let's add a code here, and we say uh, not a. Let's print not a, and let's see what it will print. It is printed an error. Why? Do you know why it is printed an error? Because we need to use English. So let's see, we write here not a, and now let's see, it has printed false. Why it has printed false? Because any non-zero value is considered as true in Python, and a zero value is considered as false. So if we have provided a value of 10, so it will have a value uh, it will have here it will have a value 0, because not converts true to false and false to true. Like, let's see, apart from it, let's use 0. So not 10, which is true, so it has inverted this function. Okay, so let's move to membership operators. Membership operators test the membership in a sequence like list or tuple. So if we need to check something is inside list, we can check it by in. If we think it is not in the list, we can check it by not in. It's the opposite of in operator. Okay, we'll be seeing this ahead, so don't panic. Now let's move to identity operators. What are identity operators? They are basically to compare the memory location of two objects. I don't want to deep dive in this, so you just read this by pausing the video. Okay, and let's move to operations on data types. So we have some beautiful operations on data types. First we learned about strings, so we'll be seeing what strings can do or how we can manipulate strings. So basically you should know that Python does not support character types. Okay, like a single character, it does not support single characters. Okay, like let's move. We have one variable, variable one, which is equal to hello world. Okay, and we have second variable, which is var2. We have provided Python programming. Let's see. We have here single inverted commas, and it is here's double inverted commas. So it doesn't matter if it is single or double inverted commas. So if we need to access the first character of this string, how we can access it? We can access it by indexing. Indexing, I told you, always access by square brackets. So, and indexing always start from 0 to n minus 1. N is the number of characters, the number of elements inside the data type. So here are h 1 2 3 4 5 6. Space is also considered. 7 8 9 10 11 12. This is also considered. Exclamation mark. So here are 11 characters, and we have access the first character. So if we print, it will print var 0 is equal to h. So we have provided var 0, that's why it's printing var 0. Let's say we remove it. Okay, so now let's do this. So it will printing h. Okay, and similarly, if we want to slice the string, so let's say we only need Python, we don't need Python program. So we'll slice it from the start to n minus 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 means 5. So let's say 0 to 5. It is used by this colon. Okay. From before colon we need the starting index, and after colon we need the ending index. So let's run this. We'll get, see, python 0 1 2 3 4 5. So it's showing some error. Wait, 0 to 5. Why does it showing? Oh, sorry, I forgot something. It slides from 0 to n minus 1. So if you are providing 6, it will run till 5. So now this is 5. Okay, so if you want to end on the this element, you will need to providing the next end, you will need to provide the next index. Okay, so now let's use the multiplication operator in this. So we can run this, and we can see it is showing the same input we gave hello world twice. And now let's add the first and second variable. What it will do, it will add both the variables. Okay, and here we are using in function, which is this membership operator. Okay, so it will check if it is inside this variable or not. So we'll run this h, which is capital H, and here we have capital H. Let's see, we'll be removing it by replacing it by small h, and it will provide false. Okay, I hope you understood this. Now let's see, this is the length function, which is a built-in function. Okay, we'll be learning functions ahead, so you just grab the hold of this surface knowledge. So function length function is basically the function which provides the length of the data type. So what is the length of this data type? H 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So it will grow, it will print 12. So don't get confused it by indexing and this length, because indexing start from 0 to n minus 1, but length is the real length of this input. And what is lower function? Is lower function is, we have learned here, we can see is, it is quite different, but we can take a hold of it, we can see is lower, where one dot is lower function checks if the variable is in lower case or not, and the whole string is in lower case or not. We have h and w as uppercase, so it will print false. So basically you explore this, all the functions it is provided, so you can get hold of it. I am not telling you everything here, I'm just telling you the basic that you need, and all the other things you need to understand it by yourself and exploring, then you will get interesting in this language. So now let's move to split function. Dot split function splits the function by the delimiter provided. We haven't provided anything here, so it will split by the spaces. So it has split it. This hello. Let's see, here is a space. So first is hello and second is world. So it is converted into list. So we can also store it as a variable like a. Let's see, a is equal to this, and type of a is this. Okay, and if we need to change this, the first letter of the variable to C, like we say hello world. So hello world is something we don't know, and it will print type error because it does not support item assignment. It means it is immutable. We cannot change the content provided inside it. Understood? So there are many more functions you need to explore it. If you want, I'll be provided a link where you can explore, so don't worry. Now let's move to list. So we know what is list. So basically this is list which are separated by commas and which can be of any type. So list 1 is this, physics, chemistry, this. List 2 is whole numbers, and list 3 is string, whole string type. Let's run this. It won't print anything because we have just assigned it, so we'll be using it ahead, so we need to run this block. And let's see, we are printing the first element of this list 1. So here list 1 0 will place the first element is physics, second is chemistry, so 0 1 2 3. Understood? So list 1 is physics, so it will print physics. Now if we want to access the inside of that element which is we providing, like we want to access the h provided in physics, so we'll use double indexing. First is for the elements like 0, then inside these elements what we need to access, that is 1. 1 means 0 is physics and h is 1, so it will print h. And now we come to this slicing. This is basically known as slicing, which we provided by colon, which starts with the starting index and the n minus 1 index, which means it will print to 1 to 4th element. So list 2. Okay, so 1 to 4, it means this is 0 1 2 3 4. I am talking about index. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4. So from 1 means here 1 2 4. Okay, 5 means n minus 1. Okay, basically it will access to 5 minus 1, which means 4, so it will print 2 to 5. And now let's want to access anything like this, or we want to change 1997 to any other year, so like we did this, and we'll print this. So let's see, it is, it has changed, so it is mutable. Understood? Now if we want to delete anything from this, we can use delete function here. Delete list 1, the second index, which means the third element, which is 1997, which was converted to 2001. So it will print this. And if we need to check length of the list, which has now 3 elements, which is 1 2 3, so it will print 3. Now similarly we come to tuple. Basically we can convert tuple into list by list function, which is an inbuilt function. Okay, so basically let's say it is like this: list this, okay, this list we can write inside the tuple variable. So we have provided by tuple this, and we have converted this into list. So let's print it. We'll get this. See, it has square brackets. It means it has been converted to this. Nice. So um, let's see. If we need to convert string into list, what will we need? We need the same function and provided by the string variable, which is like this: list str is hello world, and we'll see it is converted into string, and take care every alphabet into consideration, or every element into space, or if we add exclamation mark here, it will take that into consideration too. Let's see, and this say exclamation mark is also there. Now if we need to add anything in the list, we have dot append operator. Append means adding. So if we say list this, list 4 is this, which is this. So list 4 dot append, which is ruby. So we'll have ruby at the end of the list. See, okay. If we need to delete anything from last, basically you can also use the del function, which I told you here. You can also use dot pop function. Dot pop function will delete the last element and print it. Okay, it will do two works: it will print the last element, then delete it. So like this, it printed the last, this ruby, and then printed, deleted it. So let's see, we printed the list, which is this first, then now it doesn't have ruby. Okay, so let's see what more it has provided. Dot append, which are told. Dot count, it tells how many times obj occurs in list, means the value we will provided in obj. Then extend, it extend the content of the list. And seq is the variable, list variable we are providing. Then the index function, and then insert function, pop, remove, reverse, sort. You need these to try yourselves. It's your homework. I will be giving you many assignments, so you need to do everything to move ahead properly. Okay, so basically exploring Python is much more fun than learning it. So that's why I'm not telling you everything. And now let's come to tuples. I said the same thing before, I think so I got confused, I think. So basically tuples are all same as list. Apart from that, we cannot change the contents of tuples. Remember that tuples are immutable, strings are immutable. Okay, now we come to dictionaries. So each key value are separated by colons that you know, and the dictionary values are enclosed by curly braces that you know. And I also told you the empty dictionary, which was like two curly braces like this. Now let's have this same. Name is the key, age is the key, class is the key. So age is 7, class is first. Now if we need to access its name, we'll provide the key and it will print the name because we have used print function. If we need to delete this, we can use del function like we used in list. Okay, so let's see, it has deleted this. Now print. Let's see, and it has this str. We have deleted str. Oh, we have used str somewhere. That's why I've deleted it, because it's a what? It's a keyword. Keyword and not be used. Let's see. See, you can see date. This is two. Why? While this is showing this, we haven't done this. That's why it is taking the previous value of the which I told you earlier. So we need to run this, then run this, and then run this. Length function provides the length of the variable, which is 2. Why 2? Because we deleted this, so we have 1 and 2. Okay, the key single key value pair is considered as one object or one element inside a dictionary variable. Okay, so age colon 7 is one element, class colon first is second element. Okay, so now let's delete str which I used. See, so we need to remove this. We do not need this anymore. And now let's see, age dict, which has, we deleted this. Age 7, class first. Okay, so what are the more methods? The dot clear method, which removes all the elements inside this. Copy returns a shallow copy. Okay, you need to explore this yourself. Okay, dot get ASCII items dot keys, which I told earlier, same as dot values, dot update, dot set default. Okay, so now let's come to decision making and loops. Let's say let's take an example of a examination. Basically, where does this decision making comes in our daily life? Let's say a grading system, that comes in decision making. Like if you have 90 plus, you get the grade A. If you're less than 90, you get the grade B. If you get less than 70, you get the grade D, like this. Okay, so here comes decision making. So how we'll use decision making? We'll use decision making by our operators and by providing conditions which will produce in two values, true or false. Okay, so let's see a flow chart. We're here providing a condition. If it is true, then it will run the code which is inside the condition. Otherwise it will go ahead and won't run the code which is inside the condition because it is false. So basically we have three types of statements. Okay, so let's see. First is if statement. Okay, if, let's say, if we have provided a value 100, if 100, if 100 means it will check if the value is true or false. Like earlier I told, the values that are non-zero are always considered as true. So if true, then it will go inside this. If it is not true, it will don't print this. So let's see. Let's run 100. It has printed inside everything. Let's see. And now if we say, so let's I'll tell you something. If variable 1 colon, then the code provided inside this condition, which must be indented, means it must provide, which must be provided with a single, at least single space. If you write like this, it will show an error because it won't consider this line inside this if condition. Okay, so you will need to write like having at least single space. Like let's say we have a single space. Similarly down. Okay, so let's run again 100 and see this. So it has run this. Now let's see if I provided by 0, which is 0 value, it will print nothing because it doesn't print inside this code because the value is false. Now comes the if else statement. If else statement like this, if the condition is false, it will go into the else part. So let's do the flow diagram. Condition we provided, if the condition is true, it will go inside the if code like this. If the condition is false, it will go like else code. So how will they write this? Let's we are taking an input from the user. I told you earlier it's an integer input because we have provided int function, and we are checking the amount. If it is less than 1000, it will give the discount of 5%. If it is greater than 1000, then it will give the amount discount of amount 10%. Okay, so let's do this. Let's provide it by 500. Oh, okay, let's provide it by 590. So discount is 29.5. And let's run again this. So I'll be providing 1100 and this enter. Discount is 110. You can also compute it yourself. You can see it has done this, and let's say discount if part. Okay, I'll write that here and else part. Now let's see. It will be easier for you. 500 enter 25. Now run again. 110 enter. Okay, else part. I hope you understood it. Now comes the third statement. Like if we want more conditions, we will use if elif. If elif is the short form of else if. Okay, so let's have, we have the same, that amount is what we provided here. We provided here 1100. So let's see, if the amount is less than this, it will provide 5%. If it is less than 5000, it will provide 10%. If it is less than, else it will provide 15%, which means it must be greater than 5000. So let's run this. The discount is 110%. I have been taking this part. So let's copy this part. Copy and let's paste it here. So like we can alter it, and let's run this. Enter amount. What amount we should enter? We must enter greater than 5000. No, we must enter 4500 to see if the elif condition works or not. Now enter. So it is providing 10% discount of this. Okay, I hope you understood this. And now also, if like let's say you have some categories, you want some uh, clothes. Okay, then there comes filtering what type of cloth you want. You want pant or you want shirt. So here comes a condition which we will be providing that which type of cloth you want. Let's say we take a variable. Let's say the shopkeeper asks you a condition, which clothes you want. So you have many different categories: socks, pant, shirt, uh, inners, underwears. So you will be adding another condition, like if you said upperwear. So if in upperwear there comes shirts, then t-shirts, then jackets, then sweaters. So that's where the nested ifs comes. So let's say we have an input, and we need to check if it is divisible by 3 or 2 or both, or without it is not divisible by anyone. So let's see, we have provided it the input of 9. Okay, and let's it is checking the condition. Num modulus 2 means it will provide the remainder. So if we divide anything that is divisible by any number, it gives the remainder 0. So we check the condition. If it is giving 0, if it gives 0, it means it is divisible by 2. Then if it is divisible by 2, it will provide 3. Okay, it comes inside this condition. So I provided 9, it is not divisible, it comes to else. And now if inside else, there's a if statement. If it is divisible by 3, it will print this. So it is divisible by 3, so it will print the divisible by 3, not divisible by 2. Now let's run it again. Let's say 8, which is divisible by 2 but not divisible by 3, so it will print this. Okay, nice. I hope you understood. Now let's come to loops. What are the differences between this conditional statements which are provided here, which are decision making statements, and the loops? Loops are basically the repetition of that conditional statements again and again until we fulfill our wish. Okay, so how many types of loops are there? There are basically two common types of loops. One is while loop, and second one is for loop. And the third one is nested loop. It is the same as decision making nested ifs, where we are nesting the loops inside one loop. So let's see its flowchart. We are providing it by the expression. If the condition is true, it will run the conditional code, and again it will check the condition. If the condition is false, then it will come out of that loop. Understood? So basically, if it delivers true, it will run again that loop. If it delivers false, it will come out of that loop. So someone must be having a query, that what if we want to skip all the things if we got our aim at the first loop. So I'll be telling it ahead. So wait for some time. Let's learn some basics for the loops. Now let's see, we have count is equal to 0, we have initialize count is equal to 0, and we'll print the count till it is less than 9. So let's I provided a while loop, then a condition. This you can add braces or without braces, it's up to you, but in the function you need to provide. Okay, now let's see, it has run. Count value 0, print count. So inside loop it will check if count is less than 9. So it will check 0 is less than 9, it is less than 9, so it will print this. Then it will add this. So if we want to shorten this code, this line, only this line, what we'll do, we can do like this. Plus is equal to 1. It will execute the same thing. Let's see, it has executed the same thing. So you need to do this to make your code much more simpler and easier to read. It will help you to write code fast. So it has run. It first counted 0, it incremented it by 1, then the value of the count is converted to 2, sorry, 0 from 1. 1, it will check 1 is less than 9, it's true, then it's print 1 which is printed, then the value comes to 2, then again till 8, 8 is less than 9, then print 8, it will print 8, then the value is 9. Now it will check the condition, 9 is less than 9, which is false, so it will end the loop here. Okay, so we can also provide the loops with an else statement. When will the else statement work? When the condition will be false. So let's see, we have count plus 1, we haven't provided any value count here, so it will take the value here which is 9. So let's print 9 is less than 5, which is false, so it will come inside the else part. So it will print this. If we put here elif count is less than 7, let's see. Okay, and let's print. So it is providing an error, so we can only use else statement here, and we can't provide anything inside else statement. Understood? Yeah, these are some silly mistakes you need to avoid. See. Okay, now let's come to for loop. For loop, so how do we write for loop? Let's say in the flow diagram, this is for, then iterating variable. Iterating means the value which is being manipulated, like the count variable which we used earlier, we iterated it by 1, so we added 1 in that variable. We can also multiply it by 2 or any condition we want, or minus it by 1 or minus it by 5 every time the condition check. It's up to you. So here the condition is we have to iterate it here only, and the sequence can be anything. It can be a range function, or it can be a list, or it can be a str variable. Str means string variable, and then it will run the statement inside. So item for the sequence means it will check for the item that the sequence has. So if the condition it has an item, it will execute the statements. If it has exhausted the items, it will pass it. So let's see, we have provided it by a list function which is doing a range 5. Let's see, I will be printing this range 0, so you'll understand it easily. So sorry, range 0 now. It's range 5. So it has range 0 to 5. It means it has the value from 0 to 4. Understood? Range and a value inside it gives a variable, or we can say an object, which stores the value from started. If we haven't provided any starting number, it will start from 0, and if we to the end, which I have been providing 5, so it will have 0 to 4. So if we want to access this, we'll need to use the for loop to access, and the value will pick the first value inside this. So it is having values like this. uh, it is value 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. It has value like this. So like let's say If we print this, see, like let's see, let's print it. So see, that's what I was saying. So that's like this. We access it by one variable, so it will access the first variable, then second, then third at every loop. It will automatically iterate itself, so you don't need to iterate. Okay, so it will be printing this. Now let's see, this is a list of what, string list of fruits, banana, apple, mango. One apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, so no corona, go corona. So let's see, we have for loop, fruit is a variable which will be iterated inside the fruits list. So what it will be, first taking, it will be taking banana, it will print banana, then apple, then mango. Understood? For let's now, this is for nested loops. We talked about the third part of the loops. First was while, second was loops, and sorry, second was for, and third was this nested. Let's say for, okay, for iteration variable in range we will be providing, or any list variable or anything, and colon, then enter, then we'll provide it with a indentation if we need to run anything inside it. So like this. Now I have provided it this without any indentation. So let's see, we run it, so it will print an error, indentation error. Okay, so we need to provide this if we need everything. So C, which is value I in range 1 to 10, j in range 1 to 11, k into this. So it is printing the whole values. How it's printing, it first has the value I into 2. Okay, then it is printing k, value k, and we have a, this print function is unnecessary. Then again, see, now it's correct. We have first value 1. Okay, I in range 1, then j in range 1, then I into j, 1 into 1 1, it will print 1. Then again the for loop, the j for loop will run. It does another for loop will run when the j for loop will be exhausted. So the value will become 2. So because it will take the next value, which will be 1 to 10, which is 2. So 2 into 1, 2, 3 into 1, 3, 4, 5, like this. Then the value of I iterates, it becomes 2. Then again this run from 1 to 10. Then 2 into 1, 2, 2 into 2, 4, 6, 8 again. If until both exhaust. Okay. Now I earlier told you how to end a loop in between when we have completed all our necessary requirements. So let's say we needed to print till 50. Okay, so it has printed till 50. Now we need to end. So we, how will end? We can use break statement or continue or pass. It depends on how we need to, what we need to do. So for first, let's see, uh, here it has for letter is the variable in Python. Let's say we have provided here a string variable, or string input. So it will take first like p into consideration, then y into consideration, then t into consideration, then h. So we need to end this program when h is encountered. So Let's see, if letter is equal to h, it is equal to p, so it will not go inside, it will print the letter this, then y, then t, then comes h, it is equal to this, then it will break this, it will come out of the loop, it won't end the program, it will come out of the loop. Now let's move to this. If we want only to print the values which are not divisible by 3, so we gave it a condition. If it is encountered by this condition, it will not print this because we have provided it with continue, which means, let's see, then in this example I has a value 0, 0, it will check 0 is equal to 0, 0 modulus 3 is equal to 0, which is true, so it will execute this continue statement. Continue statement does the work to reiterate the next value, so it will send the program to second to the next iterable value. So the next iterable value is 1. Now it will check, it does not fulfill the condition, it will print. So let's say it does not have 3, 6 or 9. Why it does not have a 9? Because it has only value from 0 to 8. That's why. Now the most one of the most important part of this session is functions. Functions are basically the coding blocks of the Python program, which can be reused anywhere. How we can reuse it? If we want that condition to be run again, or we want that computation to be run again. Let's say, I just want to print my name. I provided it a function that prints a name, and then it first I called it, it ran once. Now I again want to call it, so I need to call it again. So here I can reuse that function. So there are basically three types of function. First is built-in functions, which we learned a lot more about in the previous things, and it's the last topic here. Sorry if you got confused, but I hope you understood everything. The second is user defined functions, and the third is anonymous functions. So the second and third we will learning here, because the first function we have already seen, like this range is a function and this print is a function which is a built-in function. Okay, so now let's see the user defined functions, how they are written. They are used by the def keyword. Def means definition, then function name of the function, then we can provide parameters. Parameters are basically the conditions you want, like the variables you want to use or not. I'll be explaining it to you in the upcoming part. Let's see, now we'll write something, the code which we want to execute. Then if we want to return anything, any value, then we can write return function here, and the value we want to return. Or we do, if we do not want to return anything, we can remove this part. So let's take an example. We fill a withdrawal form in a bank. You want 1000 rupees, and you fill a withdrawal form and you give it to the person in the bank. So what it will return? It will return with 1000 rupees of cash. That is returning. And what you are providing? You are providing it with a parameter, which is the withdrawal form. Okay. So now let's take another example where you does not get anything in return. So the let's take an example of your friend. Like you gave him a parameter that is your pen, and he never gave it back by after using. So this is a example of a function which does not return any value or anything. Okay, so let's say the first example, which function name is print me, and it will print I am a no argument function because I haven't provided any argument. So how will you call the function? The function name and the parenthesis it is calling. So let's see, we have called the function. See, it won't run this if we will not call it. Okay, so we need to call it. So it has run this. Now let's provide it by a argument. So we have provided by a single argument, which is variable str. We'll print that variable. So I have provided it with arguments like this. Okay, I am an argument. Let's print it. Comes str has the value this, and it will print that. Now let's see. Let's I'm a function that return a value. So print me, what does it have? It have a string value, which is this. So what it will return? It will return the length of that string. So let's run this. So I have assigned it a value because it is returning something, so we need to store it somewhere. So I have assigned it a variable a, and now I printed that variable, which gives me value 36. Now let's this was an example of one argument being provided. Now let's say the argument which I provide, more than one argument which are being provided. Now let's see, we have to print a value of an rectangle. So we have taken the input L, which is length, B is breadth, and then it will print the area this, and now we are calling it like this inside print function. Okay, we can call it like this also anyway. So area we have provided by arguments. It is taking the same name parameters, it doesn't matter, it for the easiness of the code, and it will compute the area of the rectangle. Okay, so it will return the value a, it will print that here. So if we need not to store it anywhere, or if you want to store, we can store it in a function, in a variable, and then you can print it. Now let's execute this, and let's give it an input of l, let's say 20, and now it will ask for the breadth, which is 20, 10 and 20 is 200. Okay, now let's see, if we write a function which has only uh, two parameters, but at the runtime we want more than two parameters. So what we can use, we can use variable arguments passing. It means more than one argument, uh, or the provided argument can be passed. Like here is the first argument, which is arg1, but we need like 5 more arguments. So we'll use this asterisk function, asterisk where tuple, it is a variable name. So asterisk means 0 or more than 0. So let's see here, this is the function definition. Okay, it is not returning anything, and I am providing it with an argument of 70. It will go here 70. Okay, now let's comment this and run that. Let's see, it gave arg120, so print arg170, and the variable in var tuple. So we are accessing this, but we haven't provided any argument here, so it won't print anything. Now let's remove this and comment this. Let's run this. So it first printed 70, because 70 is provided to arg1, then 60 is and 50 are provided to this variable arguments passing. Okay, I hope you understood this. And now let's come to anonymous function. Anonymous function basically includes lambda function, and they are not declared as normal functions. So basically the syntax of that lambda function is lambda keyword, then arguments need not to be in the square brackets, then colon and expression. So let's see, we have provided sum is the function name. Okay, like here was the print info was the function name, here is sum function name is equal to lambda arg1 comma arg2. And what we are doing, we are adding both functions. So how we will be running that function same as the previous functions, user defined functions, by providing arguments the 10 and 20. It will take arg1 will take 10, arg2 will take 20, and it will add, then we are printing this. So let's see this. Now let's remove it by 40 this. Now let's see if we provide a string variable region 20. Let's see if it is giving a type error. So both must be string. So if you need to add 20, you can write it as string. See, string 20. So this is the anonymous function, and with this lambda function is very useful many a times. Single line function, very handy and very clean, I think. And now let's come to scope of a variable. So basically scope means till where you can access a variable or any function or anything which is inside a code. Let's say you are sitting on a chair, and 10 feet apart your chair there is a door, but you can't access that door because you have very small hands. So that is your scope. The scope is how far your hands can reach. Okay, so if you have mobile beside you, you can reach that mobile. So it is inside your scope, but that door, it's outside your scope. So basically that mobile is local variable. Okay, yeah, or local scope. Basically we'll say local variable, which was because it can be accessed by your hand. So your hand is a scope. Now that door is cannot be accessed by your hand, so it is a so sorry, I'm sorry. So let's say I got confused. So the door is a local variable because it can be accessed if we move 5 feet 10 feet towards it. So we can't access that mobile because it was beside it, but will now be 10 feet door from the mobile. So sorry, 10 feet apart from the mobile. So it is like it will be a local variable to that area, and that door can be accessed now. So the global function, the global variable is that it can be accessed anywhere, and the local variable, it can be accessed inside a module or a block being a function, a user defined function. Okay, I hope you understood this. If you have any query or any confusion regarding scope or any previous part, just comment it down. We'll provide you assistance. Now let's come to a program. What type of program? Let's see. This is a program where we are checking it is an Armstrong function or no, Armstrong number or not. What is Armstrong number? Armstrong number is basically a number where the digits of the sum of the digits of that number, cube of the digit sum of the cube of the digits must be equal to the number provided. So let's input some number by the user. I'll run this program. Num is equal to int input, enter a number. So let's see, we're providing 153. So 153. Then it is taking sum is equal to 0. Sum is a temporary variable, or we can say it is a variable which will be computing, storing the computation of the cubes of the digit. Okay, so we are providing a temporary variable of num. Why? Because we had to break down the variable. So let's see, temp is greater than 0. Temp is greater than 0. So 150 is greater than 0. Well, wait, I'll just execute this function. 153 an Armstrong number. So let's see how it executed. We provided a number 153. We have sum is equal to 0. Temp is equal to num. Means the value of temp is also 153. And while temp is greater than 0, means 153 is greater than 0, then digit will be taking the last digit of the temp variable, which means 153 modulus 10, which will be providing 3. So last digit it got 3. We cubed it and added it to the sum variable, which is 0. So the cube of 3 is 27. So the value of sum becomes 27. Let's say we'll print everything it is doing, the value of sum. Let's see. Let's provide like this. See, it has 27. Then it again, we are dividing integer division. We are doing integer division. So temp is divided by 10 because we need to break it down. So because we need the the second last digit, which is 5. So we need to break it down into integer, another integer, which is 15. So it will be taking 15 is greater than 0. Then it will be running this. So digit will have now 5. Then the cube of 5 will be adding into 27. Then it will print. So 125 plus 27 is equal to 152. Then last will be the value of temp will be 1. So when the value of temp will be 1, it will do again this, it will add value 1 here. Then now the value of temp will be 0. So the condition will be false here. Then it will come out the loop. It will check if the num function and the sum function are equal. If they are equal, it is an Armstrong number. If they are not equal, it is not an Armstrong number. Okay, so this is the program, and this is something I need to tell you, that I told you that it can be used as comments, multi-line comments, but see here it can also be used as, basically the work of this triple quotes are to store multi-line string values. So here is a multi-line string value. I entered anything, I did printed this. Okay, so don't get confused about anything. I hope this was a great session and you understood everything I told you. And please comment if I need to improve anything, or how you want another session to be held, and what addition do you need, or any queries. And the next session will be based on the introduction to the packages, numpy, pandas, matplotlib, and how to use them, and many more things, types of files, and the basics of Python. So it will be the last session of the introduction to Python. Then we'll tell you about the machine learning part. So stay tuned and do the work I have assigned to you, and also create a program that can calculate the area of some polygons. I hope you will do that, and let us know in the comment if you tried to make that program. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed.